I'm told I was born in the district of Lahore in a small village which was called Jambar. It was about 40 miles from Lahore. And I still recollect, after reaching on the bus, we used to call it a lorry, not the bus. Mm-hmm. So lorry, it has a stand there, in front of our village, which was around 40 yards from our house, as I recollect. Mm-hmm. Just get down from the lorry, walk, and then we'll cross a small drain, and up and to the right side, we have a quite big house. So, to the best of my collection, when I, came of age, I saw there were 4 or 5 people in our, paternal family. My father, my mother, then my grandfather, Lala Karamchand Vohra, then grandfather, Lala Shankar Das Vohra, and we have one, I believe, our uncle, brother of my grandfather. I don't know his name, I don't remember. And we never, saw our Dadi. Mm-hmm. And I cannot tell anything about her, because you can only have the memories whom you have met and whom you have confronted. Lately it was told that when I was born, we never had Dadi.
Okay, he was already passed.
Yeah. And our mother, she was the only lady in the house to manage everything. And then my father had 3 sisters rather. One was Kushalya Vohra and Shanti Vohra. I don't remember the name of the third.
Is it Teka?
No, Teka Devi, she was our Masi.
Masi, huh? Okay.
Because what I recollect, our third Bua, she was living about, say, 40 miles from the village. The place was called Chunia, Very, very dim memories there. So even I don't recollect her face. We don't know that family much about it. So the very sweet memories I have, because I was only, say, maybe it was 4 to 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And the best memories I can recollect of my childhood in that village, that was my grandfather's shop. It was a grocery shop. I don't know whether any of our ancestors was in agriculture, or they were harvesting, or they were doing any agricultural, occupation. I have never seen. But that, my grandfather's shop, I remember. It was full of eatables.
It was full of what?
Eatables.
Oh, eatables, okay. Uh-huh.
All the grocery things. And what the kids can like, the candies, lot of candies, lot of nuts. And our grandfather was so nice to me, because I can recollect only myself and him. I used to go and eat whatever I like. They were almonds, cashew nuts, peanuts, even khajur, And throughout the day, I have been enjoying there. So those are the best, happy recollections that I have for that village.
What was your
I don't know what,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, continue.
No, it's okay.
Oh, so what's your grandfather like also, that you were going to go on, so.
Grandfather, yeah, he looked to me, as I saw him and as he remained till, we were together again after the partition. So he looks like a very old person to me. But I don't recollect the exact face, how he was looking, in that grocery shop. I just saw him sitting all the time there. Not facial, identification or how he looks, but he was a handsome person, very handsome, and very soft-spoken, and very caring. He loved all the kids around. We were 3 at that time, I believe. Me and Diwan Saab, and the other was my younger sister, Raj. Yeah. So I declared with 3. Many times we were there in that village.
What's one of your fondest memories? One of the happiest, just a sweet story.
In that village, I had the very sweet memory of husband of our Bua, Shanti Bua, who was married, in my Masi's, family. And their eldest son, he was very educated. He was master of something, at that time it was very big, education at the time. And he loved our family a lot. And his visit to that village, it's always, rememberable. He used to teach us how to make paper boats, and those are the very sweet memories in that village. I don't know what our father was doing, because I didn't see, any activity. I don't recollect. He must be doing something, But lately, as I go deep in the memory line, there was a wholesale market. It was around, say, 30-40 miles or maybe less than that, kilometers, or not very much distance. The name of Mandi was, we call it Mandi. Mandi means wholesale market. They used to be the agents, aarti bolte the. They used to be called aartis, or the agents, for cotton agents, or they were selling cotton in wholesale. So this kind of things he was doing. But my father was very brave and very tall person. And he remained most of the time to himself. He was very confident about himself, what he is going to do and what he was doing. But we had no interaction.
Were you close to your dad? Were you close? That
is what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
In those days, rather, I should say, fathers were never, so much interaction with the children. And mother is always taking care of the children. And whenever she feels some problem with the child, she'll say, well, let your father come. Let Bauji come, I will tell them. But many a time, we are scared of Bauji, his name. So he was quite, has authority in the house. But what I feel, he was quite laborious. He was doing all, whatever physical, the roads are required. He was doing it.
I understand he's a freedom fighter, and he was quite active.
Yeah, yes. He was lately when we came to know, and he was a great follower of Mahatma Gandhi when this fight for the freedom started. And he was a great follower, he was very fascinated and dedicatedly after Mahatma Gandhi's thoughts. And we heard Mahatma Gandhi's name only from his mouth, because there was no kind of any information for the kids, So how active he was, we never saw him going anywhere in any jalsa or in any procession. It was a small village. But he was all the time away from the house, and he was actively participating in the freedom fight. What I recollect now, when you have started the freedom fight thing, the only thing I remember, it was maybe I was around, say, 5 years plus or a little less. One afternoon, a Sipahi came. Sipahi means constable. He came on a bike and he took him away. So after a couple of years, we came to know that he came to arrest him. In a Quit India movement. So he was sent to Kasur jail. Kasur is a district place in Pakistan now. So Kasur jail was very popular. So he was kept there for 6 months.
6 months. How old were you when that happened?
About 5 years.
5.
And I just saw him going. When he was released, I don't recollect anything. When he came back. After that, I recollect only, to my memory, I don't know which year, the same year, maybe it was 43, or whatever, when he left the village. I don't know why he left the village. He must have some plans in his life, because he was quite responsible otherwise. And he has full authority in the house. And he migrated from the village to a township in district of Montgomery. And the township was Dipalpur. So we reached there. I don't remember how we reached there. We must have gone by lorry or by... So I don't have any idea what mode of transport was used to reach Dipalpur. But I recollect my house in Dipalpur township. It was a small township, and people there, they were very close to each other. And Babaji was a very, very dedicated social worker, going house to house. Maybe in a few months, he became acquainted almost with everyone in the town. And he started a cloth merchant shop there. In the main one bazaar, it was there. So he was a very honest person, very close to the poor people. In those days also there was, discrimination among the poor and other things, and the rationing was there. And some fine cloth was coming which the poor people cannot buy. So the government might have been releasing some coarse cloth for the poor on cheaper rates. So he will use that quota, the quantity of cloth that he gets, only for the poor. He will never give it to anybody else. And he will never keep a yard of it with him. And he will please every poor person who was coming to his shop. But the other big shopkeepers, cloth merchants, they were selling this kind of cloth in black market. So even he was not, tolerant to any kind of dishonesty or black marketing. And but I recollect he had many a time controversies with the other shopkeepers also. We find him arguing, why do you do this? Why black marketing? Why you sell this cloth to the, it has to go to the poor. So he was very honest. And he helped every, needy person even at the odd hours of the night also. He was never scared of anything. He was very bold, very brave. And he became very popular in that area in a very short time. So this is my recollection when we left the village. And so in Dipalpur, you know, I have some memories with my older brother. Though we never used to play together. The only thing I remember, he used to roll, you know, so to say, the like tire-like thing, you know, with a stick and run on the streets. That's the only memory that I have for my older brother in that town. Otherwise, you know, I was busy, you know, with my friends of my age. So I have full memory of the house and the surroundings and the place we used to play.
And describe Babiji to me. If you have to describe her mother, her role.
You know, Babiji was a very soft-spoken woman, a very dedicated wife and very good mother. Because she was the only lady, she was taking care of her own children, the 3 children, plus she had, you know, our Buajis. Lately they were married, but before our birth they were together. So she has love and respect for all the people around. She was managing everything in the house. You know, there was no one to help. Those days, we used to have joint families, but she was alone, cooking for 5, 6 people every morning, afternoon, you know. And we have never felt dearth of anything. We got whatever, you know, we wanted. It was she proved to be a very good housewife. And her interaction and the interrelationships was very good. She has respect and, you know, love for everyone. She never said anything. Whatever she was on the face, she was on the back. And what I see, I see that she always praised everyone. She has never hated anyone. She was a loving lady. And till her death, she remained the same. She maintained the unity in the house. Whatever best she could do, she did it. And she was very successful in, you know, maintaining and, you know, bringing up the children.
What was her relationship like with Bauji?
I don't recollect even a single instance where I saw them fighting. Not a single. Because Bauji was, you know, he was involved in his own activities. And she never interfered. Like many a time we see the ladies, what do you do, and you don't care for the house. No, she has no. Maybe it was the era at that time. Wives, you know, they always, you know, remained as wives. They never interfere in the activity of their husbands. So it is why, you know, there was no controversial, you know, things I have never seen among them, or I never saw them or going for anything. He was happily doing what he wanted to, and our mother, she was, you know, doing all the time everything for the kids. She was fully involved. Religiously, she was growing, she was, you know, bringing the children up to best of her capacity. And telling us about all the relationships, mamas, chachas, masis, you know, she always spoke good of others. She never said anything bad. I have never heard.
She was quite young when she had Paritayatri and you, right? I mean, she was very young.
Because, you know, those days, girls were married at a very young age. But I believe she was, you know, She was hardly 16, 15 years then she got married. I don't recollect exactly, but she was young, must be young.
Okay. How old were you when you had to leave everything and go to, during the partition, when it was Pakistan and you now had to go to India?
You know, partition was a very unfortunate thing. And my father never believed that there can be any kind of partition of the country. And he propagated in the town. Even I was little grown up by that time. You are talking of 1946, 47. I was almost 7, 8 years old. And there was no information. But whatever, you know, I saw and that I am telling you, he was all the time busy with the people, you know, talking to them, looking for the radio to hear. There was only one house was there. His friend had a radio on the first floor of his house. That was, you know, about a mile away from our house. So he used to hear radio there. He took me also once or twice. So when I saw the radio for the first time. So he was very, you know, curious about the developments. He knew everything what's happening in the country. When the things went very bad and riots, you know, were there, people were talking, Vohra sahab, we have to leave. Everybody is leaving. He said, nothing doing. Nobody is going anywhere. And can you believe? On his words, not a single person went out of the Palpur, you know, for reasonably long time, unless it was imposed and we had to leave, only because of this man, Ramlal Vohra. He was very brave. You know, during the riots at the time when people were being massacred, you know, killed. And he will never turn back to house till midnight. And the people were scared to even go out of their own houses. And I remember one instance when the, you know, station, you know, the police station in charge, he brought him home. When he came out of, you know, after midnight, what my father told us, you know, what he said, that it's very dangerous to go out in these days, better you go home. And he brought him back at 3 a.m. in the morning. And he was wandering in the town when things were very bad and very scary and people were killed like, you know, ants. But he was never scared. And he was very friendly to all the communities in the town. He was closer to even the Muslims, you know. Very friendly. He tried to make peace everywhere. But things were going bad to worst. So, till it was known that a long caravan is leaving the Palpur of a particular date, so all the people have to leave. Then he came to the conclusion that it's time to leave. Then all of us migrated, not migrated, but we moved from our houses to a small camp type thing, you know, in the hospital of the town, from where we had to join the caravan. All the houses were full of, you know, you can see in every house you had buffaloes, you have cows, you know, jars full of ghee, you know, cans full of sugar. What to do with that? So now when you, at the time of leaving, my mother, whatever she could do, she made something out of the wheat flour, just roast it in the ghee and sugar, and that's it. We used to call it kasar. It's a kind of, dessert which you make out of the wheat flour. So whatever quantity, maximum quantity she could make, and we could lift, and some, piece of cloth. The rest of the, belongings were distributed by my father to his Muslim friends. Even the cows were given and the buffalo was given. And one thing very important to tell you, one night was very scary when the riots were on its full swing. All the elders of the town, they wanted us to be together in a big place, in a big compound. There was a fort-like house in the town, so everybody went there. It has a big gate, and we were all inside. Our house was hardly 20 yards away, but we had to leave our house and we were there. We could hear the people coming who were, threatening the other community. And when they raised the slogans, it was very scary. But one thing that was told later, that when they reached our house, somebody told, don't said, don't touch this house. This is Mahashaji's house. He was called Mahashaji in the town.
What is Mahashaji?
Mahashaji. It was a kind of, khatab, it's a kind of title which is given to the, very rarely given to the people who are very active in social life or respected in the society. So Mahasha is a very good word for that. So nobody touched our house. The rest of the houses were put on fire and this and that. Many things happened. Then nothing happened to us on that night. Next day morning, then we returned to our house. And curfew was imposed in the town all the time. When caravan was reaching the Palpur, it was coming from district of Montgomery, about 40 miles away from there. So to join the caravan, you have to talk to someone that we want to leave. And military was, in the streets of the town. Nobody was ready to talk, even dare to talk to the military people. So my father, from the top of one of the houses, he called the captain. Then he told him everything, asked him. He said, okay, tomorrow morning we'll make arrangement that everybody in the town leaves for the caravan. So he was a kind of very honest leader, very bold, very brave person. And he was the believer to do anything for the people, whatever he could. And he believed in himself that he could do it, and he was doing it.
Sounds amazing. I wish I'd gotten to know him.
Yeah. So in the caravan, and in this township now, I'm sorry, I became a little emotional when when you go deep into these things. There used to be one shop, There used to be one shop. They were selling candies or, a special Indian dish made out of, brown sugar, as you say, we used to call it chakar or something, So I still know that boy's name. He was much older to us. So his name was Bhagat Ram. Very young boy at his age, you know. And he used to sing songs all the time in the streets, in the town. You know. For the first time, I heard one song from his mouth. He was singing all the time. And it is a very popular song, even now. Mm-hmm. There was a, you know, Sawan ke Badlo. If you allow me, I can sing a line.
Go ahead, of course, I would love it.
So he always sang that song, Bhagat. His name was Bhagat. The song went like that, you know. सावन के बादलों उनसे ये जा कहो तकदीर में यही था साजन मेरे न रो सावन के बादलों छेड़ो न हमें आके बरसों कहीं और जाके बरसों कहीं और जाके याद उनकी सताएगी रिम झिम यहाँ न हो सावन के बादलों. So this was a song he used to sing.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah. And this I am telling you only because from this song I had the concept of music and, you know, singing. And I always imitated and tried to sing like him. Even I was about, say, 8 years old or something like that. And plus, so far as singing is concerned, our mother, she used to sing very good. She used to sing bhajans, and then she knew all the tunes. If you heard the name of one writer, Jaswant Singh, who wrote a Ramayana, the Ramayana which was being, you know, played every year in Dipalpur, that was based on that book. It was Ramayana written by Jaswant Singh. It had plenty of songs with different tunes, and our mother has all the tunes in her mouth. She knows different tunes. One of them, I can give you an example, it was Behri Tawil. Behri Tawil means, name of the tune was Behri Tawil. The songs which were sung by the characters while, you know, playing Ramayana. So we also knew all those tunes. So that also gave us, you know, art of singing, whatever little we could sing in life.
I didn't know you were a singer. I had no idea.
No, we're not singers. We try to sing all the time.
You have a great voice.
Thank you. So this was that man, you know. Mm-hmm. So, and lately this was a very unfortunate and very, you know, shocking thing, that when we were in that Kerama, Bhagat Ram's father, we saw his dead body, his father's dead body. It was lying under a tree while we were walking. So that Kerama was a very exceptional Kerama, the longest Kerama, you know, as we heard. Maybe there are other examples, but it was 5 miles long Kerama, carrying, you know, lakhs of people, thousands of people, maybe not lakhs, but thousands of people from all the towns together. It was being joined at every township, you know. And I was telling you that whatever was we prepared, you know, and took with us, whatever my mother prepared, the kasar and the other things and the cookies, we were just holding and carrying the children also. At that time, I was almost 8 years old, and older brother, he was 11 years almost. Subhash was only 2 plus, and Raj was younger to me by 3-4 years. So it was very hard to carry the things, to carry the children. And when we were out of the town, about say a mile away, there was water on the ground for miles, full of mud, because they had, broken the canals of water, and it spread all over on the way of the caravan. It was very hard to cross, almost 1.5 miles, water and mud, knee-deep mud. Then whatever eatable things, whatever you were carrying, we had to throw them, and people had to, pick up their children on the shoulders. And we threw whatever was cooked to eat. So we had to walk almost 70 miles to reach the Indian border then. And in that caravan, there were old people, the pregnant young women, and women with the advanced stage, they were also there. And it was rainy season, it was raining, mud on the ground, children on the shoulders. And then on the way, when the other people were joining from the villages, other villages, with the bullock carts, with wooden wheels, the big carts with wooden wheels, driven by the bulls. We had to walk miles. And on the way, you are hungry also. You are thirsty also. I remember we had to drink the water along with the dead body in that water. But there was no way out. And when we reached here, to the Indian border, Satluj, that was called the head Barloki. That is the border, Satluj is the river which, divides India and Pakistan. So it is very close to Firozpur. So the morning we reached there. Before the bridge, that is called the bridge, Head Barloki means it was a long bridge. The Satluj River, this is the largest river among the 5 rivers of Punjab. This was the largest river, and a very wide part, very big bridge was there, very long bridge was there. And first they wanted all the, people who were walking on the ground, the walking people, they will cross the bridge first, and then they will allow the bullock carts and other things. So in that, process, many kids were left behind who were sitting in the carts, and I was also one of them. I think me and Raj, Bauji had put both of us in a bullock cart, and then Bauji ran back. I don't know how much distance he was ahead of us, and he was calling my name. So it was very hard to respond, from a distance, though I was crying. And when I heard his sound, his voice, he was calling my name. So at the top of my voice, I cried, Bauji. And he ran to my voice. Then he picked both of us and reached the bridge again. And the very shocking thing, the newly born kids in that caravan, the mother threw their children in the river. Nobody can show these things in any movie. The things which actually happened, no movie can show, and nobody can dare to show them. It was very, very shocking things happened.
And what, they had to throw them because they couldn't carry them any longer? It was
Yeah, they
just
couldn't
too
carry them,
much?
yeah, because they couldn't carry them. They had nothing to feed them. It was hard for them to, to walk themselves.
How old were these babies? How old were they?
Newly
Just
born babies. Even they might not have seen them.
Oh, right after they were born.
Yeah.
So people were giving birth too.
Yeah, it is hard, whatever, we were all small kids, whatever was told that newly born kids were thrown in the river. Many women threw it. So this is what was happening that time. So when we crossed the bridge, everybody was very hungry. We were made to sit under a tree. And I just couldn't help walking. I just walked a few distance, about a few yards. A man was sitting. And you know what he was eating? He has one loaf of bread in his hand and one green chili on it with salt. When I looked at it, my mouth watered. I could not resist him. And after a few hours, we were taken away by the social workers who were, attending the refugee people. So he took us to a small house. And the very first thing I could do, I went to the market, brought hari mirchi, and I ate a roti with namak. So this thing I have told, almost everyone around. Many a time I have told my friends and everything. So that was the, partition thing was very shocking. It was very unfortunate. Nobody believed that it would happen. Nobody in the history of humankind, such partition, was ever imagined even. But it did happen.
How long did it take to get from your old home to India?
14 days.
It was 2 whole weeks.
Yeah. That caravan took 14 days, and that was a rainy season. It was very hard to pass that, distance of 70 miles. Walking and walking and walking.
And then you get to India, and where did you go first?
In that, at Firozpur, we didn't, Bauji didn't stop at Firozpur. I remember he tried to enter one house which was already occupied by a Sardar family, and they start fighting. So Bauji was also very, as I told you, very brave, and the circumstances have made him more bold. So no, I will not say that it was a kind of courage which was holding him under the circumstances, and he wanted to grab anything for the family, whatever he could, because everybody is depending on him only. So ultimately people interfered and we had to leave that place. Even we were not allowed to enter the house. From Firozpur, I think we came to Ludhiana overnight. Ludhiana we stayed about a couple of months, whatever I believe it was. It was July, August 47.